I'm not going to talk about it. It's in the news. It's everywhere. I'm sure that all of you know exactly what's going on with a certain person somewhere in a little insignificant country that may or may not be alive anymore. I don't care. I really don't care. And I'm not going to talk about it. But it's going to be everywhere. You're going to see pictures and videos, and you're going to be inundated by all kind of crap. And then all the other stuff that actually matters that's going on behind the scenes, you're not going to hear a word about it. Like I've been saying, it's all a ruse. It's a game. It's, here, let me dangle this in front of your face and then do all the really important shit and not tell anyone behind your back. This is the entire reason I created this channel, because I actually do get to rant. I actually do get to blow up. If I have another YouTube channel, if you're interested, all right, it's about economics. It's about the stuff. I've been saying for over a year and a half that this shit was going to happen. You can go back and watch the videos. They're all there. They're all there. The euro was at like what? 116, 117, 118? And I came on the channel. I was like, look, I feel it's my fucking duty to come on here and tell you this is going to happen. It is unavoidable. I'm looking at charts. I know how the money works. You cannot avoid this. This will crash. And I didn't know the war in that place was going to happen. I have to censor myself. If you're watching this on Rumble and Odyssey, I post this to YouTube as well. I didn't know that crap over there was going to happen, the conflict. I had no idea. All I know is that when you read these charts and you understand how money at its core base level actually works, it's not that you can predict how or what event is going to happen. You just know something will. It happens every time. Like, for example, the yield curve, it inverted in 2019, 6 months before the I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be that, but I knew something was going to happen. Because it always does. It's unavoidable. There's certain trajectories that we go on down history that you can't avoid. Now, you can try your best to plan for them, and that's what you should be doing. You should be prepping. Now, I'm not sponsored, so I'm not telling you what to buy, but I buy my Patriot Supply because it's cheap, but it's only carbs, so if you want meat, get it somewhere else. But have you heard about anything else that's going on around the world? I don't know. Let's check it out. Lender seizes Evergrande's Hong Kong headquarters. Now, some of you may not even know what this is or why this might be significant. Evergrande is a property developer in China. They defaulted on some of their debt that was denominated in dollars a good while back. Well, now they're getting their assets seized. Now, in case some of you aren't acutely aware, China's property market is way bigger than their stock market. It's like 300% their GDP. It's like way, way, way up there. If China's property market tanks, they're done. They're done. And I want to be very clear about something. Since they instituted their one-child policy, since they put it in place and then they canceled it, China has lost 100 million people that they should have had if they wouldn't have done that. Now, if you watch my other channel and you know how important population growth is for money supply, health of the economy, etc., you know this is horrible. Now, if they would have lost those 100 million people like that in an instant in some kind of, explosion, then it would have been okay. Because then they would have had a baby boom, and then 20 years later, they would have been fine. But when you get slow death like that, they're done. They're done. So what happens? It usually leads to war. It usually leads to war. Because they know if they don't do it now, they'll never be able to do it. Now, before I had seen that census data, I was like, I don't think they're going to attack Taiwan. They don't really have enough ships. They would have to commit way too many troops. I don't think it's feasible. I really don't. But now when that census data came out, I was like, okay, it's probably a 60-70% chance they're going to attack Taiwan now. Because when you back someone into a corner, they act irrationally. By the way, Russia has the same problem. They have the same demographic problem. And they knew if they didn't do what they're doing now, they would never be able to do it. And they're only doing it to protect or not protect, secure their flank. They have a very soft underbelly, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to push that all the way towards Transnistria so they can have a mountain range that protects their western flank. You got to start thinking about things like this. What are they not telling you? But all you're going to hear about is this one person who was not really that important in any way that happened to die. Have you heard about other things? Have you ever heard about the Carrington event? Does any of you know what that is? This is not super that important. It's Wikipedia, but it gives you the breakdown of what it was. So in 1859, there was a CME, or a coronal mass ejection from the sun that hit the Earth. Now, that's not that big of a deal, because back then we didn't really have that many things that were electronic outside of telegraphs. But telegraph poles and wires burned down from this event, and some of the telegraph operators got electrocuted because of this. Now, what is a CME for those who don't know? All right, it's basically when the sun shoots out a bunch of hot plasma, and it's essentially an EMP, which, if you know what an EMP is, electromagnetic pulse, it fries any electronics that are within its radius to be affected. Now, obviously, with the sun, it's huge. So whatever side of the planet is facing the Earth, it'll fry all that crap. Now, there's certain things that you can do. Go look this up. Don't just follow what I'm saying. But if you're in a pinch, then you can use aluminum foil. But just make sure that the foil is not contacting any point of the electronic that's inside. There's got to be some type of buffer so the electricity can't arc over from the aluminum down to the electronic device. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen anytime soon, but these guys are. Okay? Now, do I believe this is actually going to happen? No, I don't. These predictions almost never come true. So they're saying that they're using some scientific whatever they have at their place down in Indonesia, and then they're also coupling it with the Quran. And they're saying that at 5:07 UTC on September 23rd of 2022 that we're going to get hit with a CME. Now, it's not even odd to say that, because there was Stereo A, which is a satellite we have out in space that sees the sides and back of the sun. It actually picked up a very large CME that got shot off towards Venus. You can see it here. It's not going to hit us. There's no risk of that. And do I actually think this prediction will come true? No. But like I was saying yesterday, it's one of those things that you take and you put over here on the shelf of things that might happen. Might. Right? This is knowledge you need to know. Right? So September 22nd rolls around. Boom! All of a sudden, this goes off. When a CME goes off, typically you got about 3 days. But if it's really big, into like a Carrington event, you might only have hours. It might be 12 to 18 hours. And if it's super fast, it might even be less than that. But you see it, boom, it happens, pops off. What do? You don't have a tray. I mean, you can use like metal trash cans, line it with some rubbers, put your stuff down in it, put it down, put some of that metallic duct tape around it to like try to really secure it to stop the surge of electricity getting in. But if you're really in a pinch, just grab the aluminum foil and go to town. This is the type of things you need to know. This is what you need to be seeing on news. But they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to talk about this insignificant person that is no longer with us. Other things to talk about. Let's see. I brought this up not too long ago about the southern hemisphere being really cold because of the volcano that erupted down there. I believe it's called Hunga Tonga. Down there near Tonga, which is a country. It erupted, and what happens? It was a VEI 5. What happens when super big volcanoes go off? They blow a lot of material into the upper atmosphere that is light enough to stay up there, and it's reflective, so it reflects sunlight, and it blocks a certain amount of heat from getting to the surface. Well, check this out. Christchurch, this is in New Zealand. Christchurch, New Zealand, sees its first flurries. Can you guys see this? Yes. First flurries in a decade as rare spring snow sweeps New Zealand. Europe's energy woes intensify as Russia cuts off Nord Stream. Yes, we get it. Just for those who are unaware, New Zealand is in the southern hemisphere. Okay, and we are going towards fall and winter. They are going out of it. They are getting towards the end of their beginning of their spring, mid spring, somewhere around there. But Christchurch doesn't get snow. It is now. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up for most of us who are in the northern hemisphere, we don't really have a good idea if the volcano was big enough for some of that to leak over into the northern hemisphere. But if it was, right, like a Krakatoa, if it did get enough material high enough into the atmosphere, it can bleed over into the northern hemisphere. And that will affect our winter as well. So, I mean, look, China's been getting really, really early snow. They were getting snowfall in August. Granted, it was in high elevation, but in places that normally don't get it. So that could affect us. And why is that a big deal? Because if it makes Europe's winter worse, they're done. They're already having money problems, and they can't get enough. They're telling their citizens to cut down trees. It's insane. And it goes a little bit further. Australia's colder than average winter. Iceland's historically cold summer. Antarctica plunges to negative 80.5. So you're not gonna hear this anywhere else. You're not gonna get truce. It's gonna be half truce. It's gonna be people saying like, "Oh, you don't believe in climate, huh?" No. All I'm saying is you're saying the Earth is constantly warming. Okay. Well, what happens when that doesn't happen? Oh, well, because the ice fell into the ocean and then cooled it off. But I thought you said the Earth was warming. Oh, I guess you don't think winter exists. No, you don't understand what I'm saying. If the Earth is constantly warming, that can't happen. If you take ice water and put it into an oven, when the ice falls into the water, cool the oven off? That doesn't make any sense. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. I mean, maybe you will. Maybe there's other prepping channels. I don't watch all of them. I just felt a need to be like, man, I need somewhere to rant, and I can't do it on my money channel, the economic stuff, because people are there for different reasons. But if you're interested in me doing videos like this, then make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It's really gonna help me out. I'm growing this from the ground up. There's an option for you to clip the channel, so you can clip it, share it to YouTube Shorts. You can even take it. I don't care if you use it. I'm not gonna copyright any of your stuff. Use it, share it everywhere, put it on TikTok. I don't care. I love each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next video.